that 1994 crime bill, it did contribute to mass incarceration in our country.
That's why the moment he said, UN black, the Democratic Party panicked. They were so scared because this was not only going to bring down Joe Biden's presidential run or ambition, it was going to bring and sink the Democrat Party. And immediately after that, all hell was let loose. Derek Chauvin kills George Floyd, and then Antifa is born. All over the place. Crime, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, Black Lives Matter, Antifa.
And I'm not no Black Lives Matter supporter. Like,
you're not?
No, absolutely.
Why not?
Because it's not our movement. This is a movement that was given to us by, George Soros and his fucking boys. Because they saw how things were going and they didn't want it to go back to the 60s to where we start having our own organic movements. That was a big fucking problem for them. So let's give the people a movement that we can control. We'll provide them the leaders and all of this type of shit. And yeah, that's what Black Lives Matter is. Look at the leaders of Black Lives Matter.
Are there leaders of Black Lives Matter?
Yeah.
Who?
Look at these lesbian women who are trying to incorporate, LG, whatever the fuck the letters are, incorporate their concerns into black people's concerns. Go to the website, look it up. Google George Soros and Black Lives Matter, see what comes up.
What is Antifa? Have you seen how that openly the Democrats, the liberals, the leftists, they all support Antifa? What is Antifa? Antifa is a regenerated KKK by the leftists. Even though Antifa has its root from Germany. Anti-fascistic action. Anti-fascistic action from Germany. That's where they got their roots from. They have also been labeled as terrorist organization in Germany. That's where they come from. The two flags that you have them there, the black and red, signifies anarchism and communism. So they are anarchists. These are destructive people. These are people who believe in militancy, who believe in destruction, who believe in even killing people. Project Veritas just came out with a video, an undercover video that exposed Antifa. Guess what they were advising their people to do? They're telling them how to gouge people's eyes out. They say it doesn't take anything to hurt the eyes, so you can gouge it out. Gouge it out means you can plug people's eyes.
Practice things like an eye gouge. It takes very little pressure to injure someone's eyes.
The whole goal of this, right, is to get out there and do dangerous things as safely as possible.
This is the organization that the mainstream media is busy telling you every day that they are just some people who are not happy with fascism, who don't like what Trump is doing. So now the crimes of the Democrat Party, they are putting it on Donald Trump. This is the history of what happened to Trump after the death of George Floyd. That's where he came from. They planned it. That's why they sponsor the media. If you look at almost every single media organization in the world today, they are all liberal. These are the same liberals who actually carried out slave trade. So they invested more in the media because the media and the entertainment industry of Hollywood and all these other people are the ones who are going to hold our people down in the plantation. That's why you have to see Trump being blamed. I heard Kamala Harris saying Donald Trump should take George Floyd off his lips until he can say Black Lives Matter. To hell with that. Black Lives Matter, my foot. If you want to say Black Lives Matter, tell Black Lives the story and the history of who destroyed the black nation in America. That's the first thing you should tell our people before you too, Kamala Harris, can say Black Lives Matter. Because how can Black Lives matter when the Black lives that are enslaved in the plantation don't have any clue who has put them in the plantation? They're just there. And so that's why they panicked. There was a major panic when Joe Biden said what he said. And in the whole air of that panic, everything began to happen, things began to unfold. So we now began to throw away the so-called social distancing that they told us was, you should never play with it. I have seen people who lost loved ones and they couldn't go to burial because of social distancing. George Floyd has been buried. By the way, I haven't seen his body. Nobody showed us the body. And then the next thing again, people crammed into the place to go and bury George Floyd. And no social distancing. But they want you to blame Donald Trump for nothing. Why are you blaming Trump for something that happened in a democratic enclave? We have to be very, very careful. Be wise, be wise, be wise, be wise. They have deceived us for far too long. It has not been long since we were just crawling out of the so-called shutdown. The man who made it possible was this same Donald Trump. And all of a sudden, you are blaming him again. Can you imagine that they got you to blame him? Watch out if care is not taken. They are going to still tell you now that because of the crowds that came out to protest, that the second spike of the virus has come, and they will want to get you back into your homes again. All of a sudden, you will see what will happen if care is not taken. This is the man fighting for all of us. In the heat of all the nonsense going on, this man signed an executive order on international religious freedom and actually allotted $50 million to that cause. This is the one that concerns me as an African, because our biggest problem in Africa is religious persecution. And still you think it was okay to blame Trump. This is where it's all coming from. And we all need to be wise.
When you leave the plantation, the white Democrat man hates you, and the rest of the blacks that are on the plantation hates you, and the blacks on the plantation then began to call you an Uncle Tom. They say, you Uncle Tom nigger, you, that's all you are.
I know that as a conservative black woman, I've been called an Uncle Tom. I've been accused of being paid off by the Republicans. All kinds of things, and the things that are said by Dr. Rice or General Powell or Judge Thomas.
Your personhood is destroyed. You're called names, sellout, etc. You receive death threats like I do on a real regular basis.
Over the last 15 years, I've been called nigger, Uncle Tom, a sellout. I've had guns drawn on me. My telephone's been tapped.
Someone like me and running for the United States Senate, well, there's a part of black radio that attacks me by name right now. Okay, calls me everything but a child of God, as they say.
Black activists on the right who try to escape the left's liberal plantation often are vilified and excoriated, not as being incorrect or having unfortunate views or having perhaps the wrong outlook on taxes or spending or whatever, but as not sufficiently black, inauthentically black, traitors to the race, and a lot of us have been called very, very ugly names. You are black, therefore you must think this, and no, you may not think independently. I can think of nothing more bigoted than to look at someone and say, based on the color of your skin, this is what you have to think.
And anyone, any black in our society that would disagree with the liberal left, that they then are ostracized, that they are used as an example to others to never ever speak out against liberalism.
You take the Clintons, you take the Dashells of the world, the Gores of the world, they're just as dangerous as a Jesse Jackson or Maxine Waters or Al Sharpton, because they still preach this soft bigotry of low expectations. They derive their power by having a minority base. They must make sure that blacks remain forever victims. As long as they can do that, they can take this voting bloc, the high priest of black, and take it to the plantation, the Democratic plantation, and say, look, every 4 years we deliver 95% of this vote to you, because they've conceded their power to us. We think for them, we decide for them, and whatever we say, if we say jump, they'll say how high. What do we have to show for giving you our power? How has our lives improved? What have you done to change the circumstances around me? It seems as though my life is the same, but yours is getting better and better. And they start questioning it, and the more they start questioning it, and the more they dig deeper, they realize, well, hey, if we're ever going to be a true power base in this country, we have to be a power base in both parties. We cannot allow either party to take us for granted or just to ignore us. And so why not vote Republican when I don't have anything to show for voting for you, giving you 95% of my vote? No longer are they listening to the masters of the plantation. They're beginning to break away, and that's why it seems to be this desperate move to paint all Republicans as racist. They realize that something is happening in this country. There's a paradigm shift.
Boom! There's a paradigm shift. Did you hear that? They realize that these guys are no longer listening to the masters of the plantation, and these are the people that I call the overseers of the plantation, or the plantation overseers. The people who are enslaved are no longer listening to them. Candace Owens and all these Terrence Williams and all our brothers and sisters who are waking people up are already doing so much. So the people are jumping up. So these people have seen that there's such a massive paradigm shift, and instantly they began to do so many things. They are panicking all over the place. Why have they picked Donald Trump as their principal target? You know why? Because Donald Trump is helping to open up the plantation doors. He's bypassing the plantation overseers and then opening up the plantation doors, and people are escaping every time. When Trump came out with the First Step Act, what he meant was, I want to throw these doors open so you can escape. When those people come out of jail, they go out there and announce to other people and say, there's actually hope out there. There is a better life outside of the plantation. When Trump came to fund historical black universities and colleges, what is he doing? He is opening the plantation doors. When Trump is doing all these things and reducing black unemployment, he is opening up the plantation doors. When Trump is helping Liberians stuck in America for 20 years to get a path to citizenship, he is opening up the plantation doors. When Trump is giving hope to black people and making sure that the inner cities that used to be so dangerous are becoming safer, he is opening up the plantation doors, because the Democrat slave masters never intended for all these doors to be open. Listen! This is why they come after the man. They want to destroy him. And he's not only opening the plantation doors in America, he's doing the same thing in Africa. The colonials are so much in panic right now. They are so terrified right now by Donald Trump, because a lot of people who have been seeking freedom in Africa from colonial strangulation are now going to have the opportunity to get to their freedom. I used to say this all the time. If you look at Southern Sudan, as soon as they left the larger Sudan, all these colonials came after them. They began to predict all manner of evil on Sudan. And guess what? The same Southern Sudanese people who have died in their hundreds of thousands when they were with the larger Sudan began to kill themselves more than they were being killed when they were a part of the main Sudan. And that killing continued. Their culture, their tradition, their satanic curse of murdering themselves was going on when Donald Trump stepped in. They stepped in and said, you have to find a unity government. You need to find peace. I am not taking a no for an answer. It is the United States of America under Donald J. Trump that brought about the unity government in South Sudan today. Nobody is saying it. Go and check the news about the whole unity government. You will not see one mention of the United States of America. But it is America that brought it about. Meanwhile, all the exploits and efforts of the United States of America are already recorded in the mainstream news. But the news of who brought it about, they did not give one single credit to the United States of America. The same America that is threatening Cameroon. We are not going to give you anything if you continue to do this. The same Donald Trump that has just signed an executive order on international religious freedom. International religious freedom, allotted $50 million to that cause. This is a man who is still under fire, going through so much right now. In the midst of all the whole George Floyd issue, Trump has signed an executive order on international religious freedom. Can you believe that? And this is our problem. Burkina Faso in West Africa, I am not sure there's still any Christian left there. They massacre them like flies every day. Some whole regions in northern part of Nigeria, Kaduna, North Central, now they're going to southeast of Nigeria, southwest. Fulani herdsmen, religious fanatics Are they massacring Christians? They have killed thousands for years. Donald Trump is the only man alive, only president who stood up against these people. And he has been doing a lot to scare them and stop them from killing Christians. And now he's gone ahead. They've set up international coalition against religious persecution. That is not enough. He has now signed an executive order again on religious freedom. One man. The colonials don't like this because these are the machineries they use to keep black people in slavery in their own countries. Black nations are like slaves in their own lands. You get the blacks enslaved in America, you get the blacks enslaved in Africa. And there's this one man who shows up all of a sudden and says, people need to break free. And you say nothing about it. They convinced you that Donald Trump is your enemy, but you did not ask the Democrat Party if they love black people so much. Why did they not take the child of a slave and make him president? Why did they have to take the child of an immigrant who came from Africa to become your first black president? Why not take the child of a slave who went through all that nonsense with the Democrats in the Deep South and make him the president of America? They still hate you with passion. They loathe you. You don't even know it. That's why Obama became your president. You want to tell me that of all the children of the slaves in America, they couldn't find just one who could become the president? And yet they don't want you to know all of this. They tell you Trump is your problem. Oh, look at Trump's tweet. They've already blamed him for something that happened in a Democratic enclave in Minnesota, where there was no single trace of any Republican or Trump involvement in what happened. Yet the whole media focused on him. They attribute KKK. Look at this Antifa picture and tell me what you see in that image. Do they know that the people who support them, the Democrats who sponsor them, are actually the ones who founded the KKK? I can bet you that some of them in that useless Antifa do not know this. Donald Trump is not your problem. He's not the person you should be worried about. Donald J. Trump is the man who came to open the prison doors. If you want to know more, go to our page. Go to our website, africansfortrump2020.org. Then you go to the page that says White Trump. Click on it and look down and see what Donald Trump has accomplished for Africa and Africans. And if you want to be sincere with yourself, tell me if your first black president of America has accomplished a quarter, I'm not saying half now, a quarter of all of that in his 8 years in power. It is this same Obama who imposed the evil that we have in Nigeria today. The man who has brought about religious segregation in Nigeria, that has killed so many Christians, it is Obama. No single gift from Obama that is worth mentioning. But Donald J. Trump, who is actually doing something to help, is the one we are fighting against. It is that same culture of diversion that was created, which the media was meant to oversee. And they are doing a damn good job of it. May God help us. May God help us. I could go on and on and on and on. But you see, like I said in my opening statement, this is just like when Christ came to save man. The man he came to save hated him more than they hated a criminal. They actually preferred a criminal to the one who came to save them. That's exactly what is going on. Donald Trump is not your problem. Donald Trump is actually the one who came to help. By every indication, the numbers, the signs, the proofs are everywhere, but the media wants to blind you from seeing it because that's what they were established to do. That's why they are the best lying institution on earth. Nobody lies like the media headed by CNN. Nobody. The devil is a learner when it comes to lying for CNN and all this mainstream media. They lie to their teeth. They're doing it today, but you can actually say no. Nobody's going to lie to me. You can refuse to allow the lies to have an impact on you. You can do your own research like the Berean Christians who would go and check their Bibles to see whether what they have been told is true or not. Stop getting consumed by all kinds of frivolities on social media. Do actual research. There are truths out there. There are facts out there. We're not telling you to borrow the ones that we're given. We're not telling you to believe how we believe or what we believe. We're telling you to look at the truth. Truth is universal. The facts cannot lie. Just look at it, accept it. That's all. And you will be fine. Let's join our hands together. Pray for Donald J. Trump. Work with Donald J. Trump. Our world will be a much better place. I told us during the whole COVID-19 thing that they brought on us, which they don't care about anymore now. I told us that Donald J. Trump is the man that God is going to use to give us a second chance. From what happened during this whole George Floyd thing on May 25, I almost panicked, thinking that we have lost that second chance because of the kind of reaction that I saw from people who should know better. If we lose this second chance, these same liberals who are hoodwinking you today, mind controlling you, diverting you, distracting you, they are going to ensure that you are microchipped. They are going to ensure that you are vaccinated. They are going to ensure that they squeeze out every ounce of humanity that is in you. We all need to be wise. And I pray that God will open our eyes of understanding to see what is happening and to actually behave like the people of God that we are. And as I'm ending this, I want you to remember, we should never stop praying for Donald J. Trump. That man means well for all of us, and we all need to pray for him all the time. God bless you.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly.
Many of these protests have been largely peaceful.
Mostly peaceful.
Mostly peaceful.
Mostly peaceful.
Oh boy! Oh boy!
We all get paid to you know. It's a difficult thing to explain, but basically, anytime that you're given the opportunity to protest and somebody will pay you to do it, that's like twice as good as just doing it on your own time.
So you weren't kidding around. You actually meant that you have been paid at some point to protest?
Yeah, like
How can I get in on that?
Yeah. Okay. So you go to like GeorgeSoros.com, and you just sign up right there. You put your name in, you put your email address, and there's an empty box there where you say how many times you're willing to protest and how much you want to get paid.
So many good people out there who want change and who are demanding change.
A few people who break a few windows and burn a few cars.
They just threw something on fire, Chris, a firecracker. Something's on fire!
Do not get it twisted and think that, oh, this is something that has never happened before, and then this is so terrible, and where are we, and these savages and all of that. This is how this country was started.
All my sacrifice and everything, it's overwhelming.
I
have nowhere to go now. I have no way to get there because the buses aren't running. These people did this for no reason.
Satanic Temple. Satanic Temple? We're atheists and we're Satanists. Are you for or against Trump?
We're against Trump.
Why?
Why do you think? He's going to take most of our rights away. Not happy about that. We want to protect you.